Hello and welcome. I'm Sylvia Becker-Hill, your host, and this is Flip It. Did you get your Flip It journal? The link to download and print it is below this episode. Today, it's all about flip stories. And yes, I just come out of my gym. I was swimming. My hair underneath this here is still wet. Yes, I changed out of my wet bathing suit. This is a dry one. But I wanted to meet you here today authentically from where I'm coming, without makeup, without much changes, to share the insight I had while swimming for this episode. Because let me take a deep breath. Let me start with a story, a real story, from my mother. Around 85 years ago, my sweet mom was growing up in the former east part of the German Reich, which is now Poland. And she went with her father and her brother, my uncle, my grandfather, to a lake. And they had fun there. And they went out with one of those little, what's the English term for that? These blow-out plastic boats. And my grandfather and my uncle, they already could swim. My uncle is a few years older than my mom, his sister. And my mom, being 3-4 years old, she was sitting in this little plastic boat. And I don't know the exact details how it came about, but she fell out of that boat into the lake, and her brother and her father rescued her. For these two men, the situation was absolutely harmless. They forgot about it. I asked a few years ago, before my uncle died, if he remembered it. He could not remember it. My mom remembers it to this day. When she had me 35 years later, she ensured that when I was a child and went to elementary school, that I learned to properly swim to be safe. Because she, sadly, she got traumatized from that lake incident. She never learned to swim. I remember countless vacation times we had in Italy at the Mediterranean Sea, and my dad swimming and I'm swimming and my mom just walking with the water a bit over her knees along the beach, the shoreline, because she never could go deeper. It was just freaking her out. She was stuck in trauma. So she ensured that I learned how to swim. So here the story could just end. Interestingly, even though I learned how to swim, I even got in Germany with this system of certain courses, and then there were like milestones of performance where you got a certificate and they had cute names. And I think the last one was a certain amount of time you were able to swim and keep yourself above water, and having the courage to jump off the little tower of the jumping board. And you got your certificate. And I remember it because I loved the symbol, the name of it. It was the little seahorse. And there was a big seahorse and there were other names. But I remember I got to the little seahorse. I never progressed to even anything further. And later, when I had swimming in middle school, I remember I still hated it. I was not traumatized of the water, but despite consciously learning it, I subconsciously avoided it. I subconsciously was somehow, disgust is not the right word, but I resisted water on a visceral level. And I remember in middle school laughing about my swim teacher. It was a man, and he didn't seem to know much about a woman's biological hormonal cycles, because he never questioned why I missed so many classes per month due to my period as an excuse, which was accepted in Germany. And I missed way more times and way more often than biologically possible, but he never questioned it. Anyway, the point of the story is I inherited through osmosis, through DNA, through just watching my mom as a young child and how she behaved when she was confronted with rivers, lakes, or the ocean. I inherited a deep, deep aversion in me against water, which later turned into a conscious story. Throughout my adult life, I told friends or close acquaintances or later my husband, when the topic came, hey, do you like swimming? Do you want to come to the beach? Da, da, da. I always said, I hate water. I don't like swimming. Can I do it? Yes, I can do it to survive if I fall into the water. But do I enjoy it? No. So I didn't go much swimming. I didn't join any clubs. I didn't have a lot of fun in water. So now let's jump to present times in the year 2025. I accumulated in recent years some physical health issues. I will not go into the details. Among them, I had during the COVID lockdown a huge jump in weight. I gained from lockdown start till the election night, the whole time being just very stressful and very triggering for me here in the United States. Again, not going into the details to not go into politics here. I gained 35 American pounds, and I have not been able until recently to reduce those. I tested all kinds of different diets and methods, but today it's not about dieting. My point is, I am at a phase in my life where my weight is in the so-called obese range, and it causes other symptoms in my body. And last winter, 3-4 months ago or so, my primary care physician, when I complained about some pains and they found some arthritis in my knees, and I had hurt in a yoga class my right shoulder, and it was pretty frozen. I could only move it straight, but not to the side and not crossing my body's middle line. She said the historic words, Sylvia, as long you are as heavy as you are, right now, the most healthiest or best form of moving your body is swimming. And I thought to myself, I don't like swimming. But I have a huge, huge commitment to live long and healthy and vital and vibrant. One of my motivators is my younger, very attractive, wonderful husband, who I'm deeply in love with. And the fact that I have 2 boys, and I had them, my sons, late in life. So I want to experience my 2 sons, and potentially, if they have ever children, my grandchildren. And oh my gosh, I get a few tears coming up. I don't want to die prematurely because of some health issues. I know through changes in my lifestyle, I can prevent my body and my life from. So I listened to the doctor, joined up here with the local gym to go swimming. And I want you to listen and not compare or make it about the swimming. The swimming is just a story. It's just a metaphor. It's just an example. I'm getting to the point of the episode very soon. And the point is universal. It doesn't matter. So it will fit to gazillion themes in your life, I promise. So I went to the gym, and the first time going there, I've never been, as an adult, swimming in an indoor gym pool. Yeah, I had to find my bathing suits. This one here doesn't fit very well any longer, and I didn't have this. I never wore those. They're tight, so I had to get acquainted with all the practicalities. I had to get a locker, chaining thingy for the changing room, and all these things. And even though it was uncomfortable, I pushed myself through a bit of willpower there to follow my doctor's advice, because when even yoga, which is supposed to be so healthy, and I've done it for many years and I loved yoga and I was able to hurt my body, I thought, okay, I have to try the swimming thing. I will never forget the moment I got my body into the water and I started swimming. After a few laps, I became consciously aware. And that is, as a side note, the result of my recent years of becoming a trained and certified somatic coach. I changed my relationship with my body. I changed how my perception and my attention was most of my life constantly outwards to the world and other people's expectations, so that I, as a former people pleaser, was behaving accordingly to external expectations. I trained myself to be able to turn my attention completely, deeply inwards, and to learn how to scan my body and to sense what's going on within my body, which is an amazing life-changing shift. And I will probably make its own episode about that. So doing my laps, swimming, I put my attention into my body, and suddenly I became aware that my body, especially my neck, shoulder area, had completely relaxed to a level I didn't remember I felt when I felt it the last time. And then and this is now the moment, my big aha personally, which is systemically a universal big aha. I realized that my belief, my conviction, the story I was telling all my life, I'm 58, all my life I told the story of, I don't like water, I don't like swimming. And bam, in the moment, in the pool, sensing my body relaxing, being able to move my neck in a way I didn't remember last time being able to, I realized my body loves swimming. My body loves water. So who is even that I that believes it doesn't like water? And in that moment, I dropped my old story. I dropped the story, Sylvia Becker-Hill doesn't like water, Sylvia Becker-Hill doesn't like to swim. I love swimming now, which makes me choke up. And as I said, don't think about if you like swimming or not. Think about the many stories you hold close and dear throughout your life, or minimum over several years or decades. Since I dropped that old story and flipped it on its head, I experience so much more freedom. It's a freedom to go now swimming. It's a freedom to have less fear when I'm close to the Pacific Ocean. I'm living 20 minutes from it. I experience more love. I experience more love for myself, for my body, for movement, for the brilliance of my body, somatically expressing its joy so that it got through to me, into my awareness, so that I had the freedom to drop the old story and create a new one, which I love much more. I love my mom. And I'm deeply sorry that she could never heal her trauma from her 3-4-year-old childhood experience of falling into a lake before she could swim. I love her. And I love myself and my health and my husband and my boys and my commitment to live as long as I can. And I think the biggest change from our FLIP acronym is the I. Because the stories we tell ourselves consciously and sharing them to others, writing them in letters or blog posts or whatever, and also subconsciously, the stories that are stuck, hardwired in our brain and energetically, emotionally stuck in our bodies, all stories together, they shape our identity. They make us who we are. But who says that our identity is written into stone? Who says that we can't change our identity? I say you can. I say you can curate and shape your identity by dropping the stories that don't serve you any longer. Which brings me to P, being able to create your own identity is one of the biggest powers in life. To step in, to consciously own that power. And you, my dear beloved viewer, you have that power. And maybe your stories holding you back from whatever you want to experience have nothing to do with swimming, sports, or health. Maybe you have stories around success. Maybe you have stories about money. Maybe you have stories around love. Whatever stories you have, maybe you don't have yet the access to your interoceptive relationship with your body and allowing your body to share its truths, which might contradict then your story, like in my case. Even if you don't have that access point, there are other access points. You have the power to simply, with your mind, consciously question any kind of story. Maybe you have a story, I'm not good with money, or I'm such a loser when it comes to my career. I can't position myself well in my team. Whatever it is, you could start consciously questioning it. Is this really true? Am I really not good with money? Are there maybe moments in my life, and even if it was just for a few days, I was good with money? Is there maybe a situation in my current position where I did stand up for myself and positioned myself well? You can use your conscious questioning like water drops that can drill through the thickest rock. You can, I'm using now my fingers here as a symbol of neurocircuits, of nerve cells. When nerves fire together, they wire together. By questioning, is this really true? Am I really such a loser in my career or money or whatever? But questioning is dissolving the myelin sheath around the connection of neurocells. And suddenly neurocells, which were hardwired for decades, they're suddenly free. They are free to create new connections. And after you questioned long enough your old story, you can, you know what I want to say? Flip it. You can flip it. It doesn't need to be exactly the opposite or the upside down version. The flip is the new version you choose, you write as the author in your life, aligned with your dreams and goals. That's the topic of today's episode. Flip stories so that you can experience more freedom, more love, can create your identity, because the summary of all your conscious and subconscious, energetic, emotional, and word belief-based stories creates your identity. And you can discover the huge power you have to create yourself and your dream life by flipping all the stories that don't serve you any longer. So my invitation from this episode to the next is choose one story. One story you either somatically through interoception, if you have learned and are good in doing that, or through intellectual questioning, or maybe you do both, sometimes going into action and consciously with the support of friends and your community, you can also create proof in the external tangible world that your old story was just that. It was a fiction story. It was made up. And the key is that we all, in this kind of process of rewriting our stories, in recreating, reshaping our identity, are compassionate with ourselves. I remember when I discovered that it's not true that I don't like water and that I don't like swimming. I still feel a bit of echo tears coming. I did cry, quite a lot. And I grieved. And I sense there's still some echoes left. All the many decades of my life, I could have had several hours a week of joy through swimming. And I cut that possibility, the joy through swimming, and also the elevated health benefits of regular swimming. I cut this off for over 50 years, for over half a century. Because we are always powerful. We are always immensely powerful. Whatever story we are telling ourselves, the fictional ones or the factual ones. I wish you courage to look at your stories, and fun and joy and playfulness in flipping them. See you next time.